Can you guys hear me well? Just making sure. We just went live. Right,
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
perfect. I feel like I just saw everybody yesterday. That's how fast these weeks are going. I think I need to go on Do Not Disturb. In the chat, guys, if you guys can introduce yourselves, connect. I'm gonna be a little more active in the side chat today. Silvio, you're in my backyard, man. Looking forward to get started in this journey. Yes, sir. What part of Orlando are you in, Silvio? County, Virginia, South Florida. Wow. Nice. Like 30 minutes away. Well, yeah, guys, anybody have any stories, anything that's happened during the week? Questions you guys have come across? I've gotten a bunch of people texting me, hey, I'm doing these agent calls and I'm getting new objections. So if we could cover that, that'd be great. New objections, new stories from sellers that we haven't heard. Every day there's a different situation, so it's good to hear from everybody. Hey, Steve from Boston. I'm dying to get up there, man. Anybody's in Orlando, there is a meetup. Jared, I just saw your message. Yeah, I'll be at the meetup later tonight. It's here locally. It's gonna be pretty good. It's pretty big.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Sorry I didn't message back. I've just been dealing with a couple deals that are in the attorney stage before we go into escrow.
No worries.
Is it Muzzy? You got a question about a deal?
Yeah,
How's it going?
how you doing, man?
Good.
Actually, it's kind of a deal, but I've been speaking to this the seller, and she's her property is like a expired listing. So I got it from expired listing. So she just, the thing is, she just signed a contract with the realtor again to put it on the MLS. So, which is when I spoke to her before, she said she might try to cancel the deal. Because I was trying not to involve the realtor on the deal. So now she texts me, she's like, I think yesterday, she's like, hey, I spoke to my realtor and then she wants to talk to you. And all, yeah, and all that. I was like, oh my God, really?
Here we go.
So yeah. So now I don't know if do I have to go there? Because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna say to a realtor. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if to go there and see because I didn't even put, because she wanted to see if was my offer on the deal. And I said, hey, I can't just give you my offer over the phone. You know, it's not fair to you. So
Mhm.
it's better to come in there and then just look at it and then just meet you in person. You know, she was like, yeah, it makes sense. So the question is, man, do I have to go there? Kind of like meet a realtor, and what I'm gonna say now in this point. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only question that I have. That I will see if what you think about it.
It's hard to answer because I would want to know how much room there is on the
Right.
deal. If it would make or break the deal, paying the agent,
Right.
we just have to say that.
Okay.
I'm not going around you on purpose or in a malicious way.
Right.
More so, I can't get the amount of money that the seller wants if
Mm-hmm.
a realtor involved. But if you're willing to take less commission, I don't mind paying you. It's just we need to, obviously, then the main objective here is to make sure that the seller's problem is solved, and that's my
Right.
objective.
Main thing. Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Because I feel like probably I think it's trust here what I'm feeling on her, because you know, because she's only one in the deed. So probably she's trying to bring her realtor to be more safe, to say. So you know what I'm saying? Which is I don't mind. And I said, yeah, that's sure, that's fine. I'll come over. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know. So, but as you said, I think that's a good idea. I think you know, I'm just gonna say that, and then I'm gonna do that, I guess.
especially since it's not on the market yet, and she
Right.
the
Right.
document, you're not at fault. You saw
Yeah.
it on the market. Public record doesn't show anything that
Right. Right.
you're fine.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
I hope the numbers work out for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to share some wins, some losses, some fears, some doubts? It's always good to just review all these things. Hey, Luisa. Good to see familiar faces in here.
Yes. I haven't heard back from the lawyer. Shall I send the LOI to him? Because I texted him, I tried to call him, and he actually didn't respond. But like I said, I was not able to track back the seller.
Mhm.
But he's not a broker, so is he obliged to present the deal?
The seller, you're saying the attorney is not the broker, right?
Yeah, he's not. That was the foreclosure deal that we said that this client might be interested in the seller financing. So I texted and called, but is there any harm to send?
To go straight to the owner?
Yeah.
No? Go for it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Well, guys, I'm sure you guys remember Andrew Murray from the beginning of this whole thing where he was helping out. He's super knowledgeable, also in Sub 2. I want you guys to get very acquainted with him. He's gonna kind of take the helm on running these things. We're gonna build up a second day now. We've been pretty busy. Let me throw Andrew up here. We've been pretty busy over the last couple of weeks. Andrew was just at the community camp over in Montana. So he got a ton of information out there that I'm sure he's going to share with you guys. And he also has different systems that he uses. I personally like PropStream, and he's been using batch leads. And today, just this morning, I had a one-on-one with somebody that was asking me, hey, batch is giving me different results from PropStream. So I figured, well, why not just let Andrew show you guys a different method? Same thing, it's just a different system, different way of looking at things, and hopefully that'll help you guys that have been jumping from system to system and don't really want to move, and you like what you have. It's really good to get different perspectives from people that are doing the deals and finding the leads and things like that. So let me introduce you Andrew Murray. How's it
Hey,
going?
appreciate it. Appreciate it. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I think Jose nailed a lot of it there. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to kind of show things from my perspective. It's a lot of what Jose's already gone through, already taught, to a lot of you. But yeah, there's just little tweaks here and there. The systems, obviously, as he was saying, we were looking at stuff earlier that, just things just get pulled up different. And then we have a kind of different views here and there of how we attack. But at the end of the day, I think it's all relatively the same. It's all towards the same goal. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. So we're gonna do 2 separate Zooms. We're both gonna be on both of them, either way. But I've been noticing that there's been even last week, there's been a lot of new people coming in with the new Elephant Challenge coming up. I want the people that have been sending leads and taking action to have their own separate Zoom. And those of you that are coming in a little bit newer, that are just trying to learn the different ways, can review the replays or get live with Andrew. Andrew, talk a little bit about how you're going to do similar to the daily dial of what we have in Sub 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of things, as Jose said. Yeah. So I want to help people that are new, really trying to understand. I think there's a few things we discussed that we wanted to go through, right? One of them was like, hey, let's review low equity list on batch leads and how we pull it, right? How we go through that. And then something I brought that he just mentioned was the daily dial. Inside Sub 2, we have this thing called daily dial. And basically it's every single morning. Now we're not going to be daily dial. We're going to be once a week dial, but it is role playing. And I would say, when I first joined, and I think if you ask any seasoned vet within Sub 2, they'll tell you that the daily dial is where a lot of growth happens, and there's a lot of learning that happens there, right? The first couple of times I jumped on that daily dial, I was scared. I was shaking. Didn't know what to say. My throat was like, and I wasn't even calling anybody that was real. It was just talking to somebody sitting in the chair like Jose is now, right? And it still made me nervous. So it's super valuable in just getting reps, right? Getting reps that doesn't matter if you screw up. It doesn't matter if you barf all over the screen. It's because at the end of the day, it's just role play. So it's been super helpful for me. It's been super helpful for so many people inside of Sub 2. I wanted to bring that same type of call and mentality and just work on those small things with everyone here to help, so that when we're doing live calls and you raise your hand, it's not your first time calling. Like, go get the bugs out on role play. When you jump over to Jose's, when you're taking real action and you're pulling in leads, right? I want you to feel comfortable to go to maybe that next level and have that next level conversation. So yeah, it's practice. And it's awesome. So I've loved it. I wanted to bring it over. I know we talked about it with other Elephant Challenge leaders, and they were ecstatic because they've even talked about wanting to send people over, from their groups to say, hey, go role play and come back and make calls, right? So that you get confident. This will be a no judge zone. It does not matter, right? You could literally be the worst person on the phone and you keep showing up and doing it. And I promise you'll get good. And then you'll start slaying calls and you'll be like, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. And then you'll be teaching one day. That's the goal, right? So.
And if we laugh, we're laughing with you because we've been there, not at you. I promise you.
Oh, absolutely. It still makes me laugh now I got punched in the face so many times on those daily dials with Creighton, with Munif, right? Munif was just on Closers Olympics. He got second place. And he was the first person I ever did a daily dial with. Now, he's super sweet dude, but I was intimidated. And it's like, for what? And now I go on there and I have fun and I put myself in challenging positions. I'm like, okay, I just had this type of seller in real life and I did horrible with it. like, okay, let's bring it to the daily dial. Like, I want that for you guys too, right? I want you to be on agents calls and being like, oh man, I just absolutely blew that objection and I froze and I didn't know. Perfect. You come back, you say, hey, I was on, I got this objection. I didn't know how to handle it. Boom, let's role play it. You know what I mean? Let's go through it. Let's get the repetitions. And then the next time it'll be like you're having a conversation with your best friend and you'll be ready to go. So yeah, that's the goal. Virgilio said, what is Daily Dial? Daily Dial is a role style, a role playing format where we work on objections, we work on even introductions, right? The rapport that you're building, a lot of it happens right off the bat, right? You know, if you're calling and you sound like somebody who's trying to knock on a door and sell cleaning supplies, you know, how many of those people do you actually want to talk to? None of them, right? So it's all about just building that instant rapport, you know, working on intros. I did that for the longest time on Daily Dials. I only worked on my intro. And then I was like, okay, I'm cool. Like, I don't need to go through all the objections. I don't need to learn how to pitch terms. I want to just work on my intro. Then I got good at that. I'm like, okay, let's work on objections. Let's work on pitching terms. And you know, you just take a little bit at a time and it, you know, becomes super easy and comfortable. And yeah, so that's the Daily Dial as a whole.
Yeah, he'll be running this one here at the Elephant Challenge level, guys. So Andrew's gonna have his own day and time, and you guys can jump in. And like you said, no judgment zone, where you can take your practice hits here. It's gonna be kind of shotgun style, where it's not gonna be a specific type of lead. You just want the practice to talk to anybody, any type of seller. Because if you could get good with anybody on the fly, then when you go specific, like we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, you're just going to sound so much more of a natural. You're going to take away the butterflies, or if you do get the butterflies and you kind of stumble over your words, you're going to know how to just kind of forget about it and just keep going. Because if you start thinking about, oh my God, why did I say thank you when you know those people that say like God bless, and instead of saying God bless you too, you say thanks, bye. Just like that awkwardness.
The guy, I love you, bye. You're like, wait, what did I just say?
Love you too. But you're right. No. It's just like you gotta get all that stuff out of the way. So
Absolutely.
and don't think about it. It becomes a voice on the other end. Yes, we're trying to solve problems and things like that, but with the repetition comes just that ability to get rid of the ego, number one.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think another thing it really, if you focus on this, I think it's important is there's a lot of us now. Sub 2 has grown very large. Elephant Challenge is getting very large. There's a lot of people calling and saying the same thing, right? It's a great opportunity to call and sound unique, right? You don't want to sound like the other 10,000 people that are doing it. You want to sound like you, right? You want to have your own little quirks and things that kind of make you stand out in the conversation. So that is another thing that I've loved about it, is just trying to like focus, and I still do it now, right? I just try to focus to what's me, right? How do I make this more me? So yeah, absolutely. It's a great place to do it.
Yep. Well, good deal, guys. Andrew's gonna kind of show you a little rundown. He's gonna name his day and time for you guys to jump in and do this stuff with him. As you submit leads, we are kind of going to use a little bit of both. So I'm going to see who's going to be submitting leads to be reviewed. I've got about 7, 9, 12 of you, something like that, have been consistently submitting leads over the past couple of weeks. You're going to get the private Zoom link. So don't be afraid if you're not getting a private Zoom link. It's not anything against you. It's just kind of like, make sure you take action. And if you're willing to take more action and have the time to do this, then perfectly fine. But if not, you can continue your role play here with Andrew, figure out what to say on the phone calls, and then move it over to kind of like a little deeper level on these private Zooms that we're going to be hosting too. But
Absolutely.
Andrew, if you want to take it away, show them a little bit about how batch works. I'm going to give you some room here to
Jose.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
My name's Victoria Head, and I'm a North Carolina realtor, and I've got one deal that is closing today, and
Congrats. That's great.
yeah, thank you. And that was just just I wasn't pursuing it necessarily, but I couldn't get the house sold. Been in business for 10 years, so very unusual for me not to be able to sell a house. But this one was giving me a bit of a problem. It had an electrical tower, but it would generate good rental income. So anyway, I wanted to know, do you have a form so that I can submit some more? I've been making phone calls and on the low equity list that I have through PropStream. And I just didn't know where to submit, to see if it's a potential something that you might want.
Yeah, right here. Just put up the link in the chat.
Oh, okay. I wasn't exactly sure.
Yeah, no, good question. I'm glad you're taking action. That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, they call me the unicorn realtor.
Heck yeah. Well,
Yeah.
how
My
long have you
family
been
thinks
doing
that's
this?
hilarious. Like, yeah, you're a unicorn, all right. So anyway, but being open-minded to be able to solve problems for our sellers, it's not always, cut and dry. And someone I think was talking about the realtor when they're expired, they're free game. I mean, there's no agency, so no one's doing anything wrong. If I have a listing and it's expired, anyone at Keller Williams can grab it, and anyone can make a phone call. So they should have maybe listened to the opportunity before it expired.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super pumped about being able to do at least a couple deals. That's what I'm trying to do, make it part of my business to do sub 2 deals as well as stay focused on listings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've read Pace Morby's book.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
All the time.
I
And you-
reference it all the time.
I was just gonna say that you could use it for so many references.
Yeah.
Even when I'm live, like on a phone call or something, I'm actually starting to memorize these chapters and where things are and what the stories are. I just quickly look at my highlighted. Yep, exactly. But it's so good. It's great to use. Tell us a little about your deal that you've got closing today. Share it with everybody.
Yeah, so it was a listing that was it was listed at 400 and 400,000, and it was an amazing house. It was in a cul-de-sac even, but the one thing it had was a big electrical tower. The funny thing is that the house next door in the cul-de-sac went under contract, the exact same house plan. It didn't have really good neutral colors like our listing did, but it went under contract in 5 days, same price. But then we came in a week later, and guess what? For some unknown reason, we were not able to get it sold. So the other one went under contract in 5 days, same price, same square footage, everything, exact same house. So anyway, we kept on reducing the price. We were at $375, and I was like, okay, I know this guy named Pace Morby, and I'm going to find a solution. This is ridiculous. This has never happened to me before. So I'm going to find a solution for these sellers. I'm not going to give up. I've got to be able to find something that I can help them, accomplish what they need. It was a VA loan. One of my things I'm really trying to get deep down and complete clarity on is the VA loans, because I've heard a couple people within Pace Morby's group, different groups, say that you cannot buy another home with a VA loan. I know I'm getting real technical here, but I need to know that, because we have a lot of VA loans. And I need to make sure, because this particular one, they were already approved for a new construction home, and they could buy that without selling this house. However, I needed to get the house sold, and I wanted to get it sold top dollar. So I had seen Josh on a YouTube video. So I went and I found Kevin, found Josh, I found all the people that were on the YouTube video, followed out all of them. But the one person that had a phone number on Instagram was Joshua. So I call him, and Joshua wants to hear about the deal. My very first one, didn't really know what the criteria was he wanted. Learned that really quick, though. It's not that hard.
Yep.
And gave him the information. He was like, we got a hybrid. I was like, a what? And I was like, I said, I'm kind of excited. I don't know what what I'm excited about. And so I learned about hybrids. And then I, of course, ordered the book, not just for me, but for my husband who's in business with me, my daughters that are in business with me. So we all have our own copy.
Good.
So actually, I think Pace bought the house ultimately. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, we closed today. We're supposed to close this afternoon on my very first deal. I did get paid, which is what realtors want to know. So the very first thing I always say when I'm talking to a realtor is, I'm here to help give you another option for your seller, and you will get paid. And then I go into what that option might be.
Wonderful.
So that's me. I'm new. I'm learning like everybody else, but I'm pretty pumped.
When is Victoria getting her day? She's already killing it.
Not really. I mean, I just did one deal.
Yes, hey, you
Really
are.
amazing.
You are.
That's
You
amazing.
are.
Well,
That
I have a
one-
family. I have a vision board right in front of me, and that's what keeps me going.
Love it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And
So
knowing,
let me just ask a quick question. You sold your first deal to Pace, where he ended up being the buyer?
yeah. But I actually saw
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Joshua because his phone number was on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was going to find a solution for my seller. So that's kind of how that happened. And I don't know how Pace got really involved, but I was told he bought it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
just signed. That's good.
I mean, I didn't care who bought it. I was just like, someone, and we got it for $425.
Okay.
Oh, and my sellers want to learn how to do creative financing with me.
Every time.
They're so excited about it.
Mhm.
And the only part I really want clarity on is when you have a VA loan and they decide maybe 3 years later, I don't think they're moving anywhere, but I want to know there's an option. I think it's called BTI, that as long as you give the bank who's paying that mortgage, that you would be okay to use another VA loan on another purchase. But I've got to dive back into this book or find that somewhere, an answer to that. So I'll know, how to respond when someone asks me.
Yeah. Matthew Bell covers it very well. He's a sub-2 student and also a VA expert. And you don't have to completely sell that first one to buy your next one. Your income just has to be okay with that payment and 25%, I believe, of the first one.
Exactly. That's what I read.
So I'll send you a link for that, Victoria, so you can take a look at it. Maybe you've already seen the video in passing anyways, but I'll send it to you anyways. But it's a great breakdown so that when you do come across these VA options, you can actually use the calculator to see what their next home what you can qualify them for 100% financing on the next house.
Oh, gotcha. Love it. VAs are great.
But you could do multiple houses on the same entitlement.
Oh, entitlement. That's the word I cannot remember.
Mhm.
VA entitlements, how they work. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Message me on the side, me and Andrew, and we'll talk a little bit more about that stuff.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Victoria, where do you work in North Carolina? Just curious.
Wherever the numbers make sense.
That's the answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
I'll go to the beach if it makes sense. I'll go to the mountains, but I live in central North Carolina. So I've listed, lake properties, $1 million. I've listed mobile homes. I mean, I don't care what it is. If the numbers make sense, I'm going to go. Like Nanny McPhee, right?
Absolutely. That's good.
I love your energy.
Oh, thank you.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, I'm not very versed in VA, but I did learn a little bit about it because I'm in the Army National Guard. So I had to learn about it to use it.
Oh, cool.
And you get a set number, like each county gets a set number for the entitlement. So for example, in Pensacola, where I am, I think it's like 475 or 575. So if I get a house that's 200, that leaves 200 to 300 left in that entitlement. So if I get a second house within that entitlement number, I can get that second house with the same type of benefits. But a lot of times people get a house for the full entitlement that they can get for that county. So when it comes to the second house, they don't have anything left over, if that makes sense. And y'all fact check me on that, but that's how I understood it.
Yeah, it does work like that, but there is a formula for us because we're taking some of the payment off their DTI. I've got a formula here that I'll probably share it in the Action Taker Zoom. to be able to calculate exactly what the next house would be up to 100%. And then if they require a bigger home and they're trying to upgrade, we can actually use our down payment instead of just giving them a wild number. We can actually know exactly what their down payment is to the next home that they actually want. Because sometimes the 100% financing only covers so much, and anything over that, they have to pay about 25%, but I'll go over all that stuff. It's a little complicated, but it's not too hard once you get it. But very, very cool stuff. Thanks for sharing, Clifton. And thanks for your service.
Thank you, Clifton. Thank you for
Sure.
your
Thank you.
service. You're amazing.
But yeah, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Alrighty.
I'm jumping off Spotlight. Share your screen, bro. Do what you need to do.
All right. So we have bachelors here, property search, right? Pretty standard. Now we got to figure out where we want to go, right? So if anybody wants to throw in the chat, I'll be honest, I'm feeling kind of inspired by Victoria. So I was thinking about let's go look at North Carolina. If anybody wants a different area, we can definitely pull that up as well. There we go. All right, let's go to Raleigh. Let's check out Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, 185,000, beautiful. All right, so we're looking at low equity. The upcoming Elephant Challenge is an agent outreach specific. So for this one, I'm going to, look for on market, low equity on market. So we're going to go to filter. All right, you can see there's a ton of different fields we can go in and look at. We're not going to touch these up here, but I'll just show them quick. This is a owner occupied or absentee owner. And then we have a property vacant or, mailing vacant. So those are two ones you can do. Really only touch on those if you're having a hard time really drilling down and maybe making more of a niche target list, or if you're targeting absentee owner specifically, right? But for this one here, we're going to go ahead and target low equity on market. So in order to even select anything in this field, we got to go ahead and do residential. Obviously, there's other ones here, depending on what you're looking for, but for what we're doing, residential. And then property types, again, a lot of choices here. I like to keep it a little bit smaller. So we're going single family. And then I usually like to do a duplex, triplex, quadplex. I believe it is 5+ units is what makes it a commercial unit. So I keep it at the residential quads and down. Now, my strategy here is a long-term rental is what I'm looking for, right? So I'm doing buy and hold specifically. For me, buy and holds, I typically like 3 bedrooms, but for here, I'm going to do 2 bedrooms, right? Because 2 bedrooms in the right area may be a great property. 2 bedrooms in a very rural area may not work as well. 1 bedrooms, margins are a little bit tighter on those, in my personal opinion. Building square foot, I like to do 1,000. I think that's a pretty good size for a family, right? I'm always looking at, okay, who am I trying to rent this out to, right? And I have 3 kids, a wife, 3 kids, and a dog. Right? I try to picture, okay, if I'm going to rent, right? What would I need? All right. Well, I would need definitely at least 2 bedrooms, probably more, but not everyone has 3 kids, right? But you need space too, right? You can't have a 800 square feet and that many people. Just, that's not really my target of maybe who I'm looking to get in these houses. Year built, 1980. And I think that's pretty decent for property characteristics. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to go MLS status. And you can see everything collecting over here, so you can keep an eye on your filter. So I'm actually going to go on market, yes. For me personally, I'm going to put 30 days on market. Actually, for this one, I'm going to increase it to 60. If you guys have done previous Elephant Challenge or you've read the book, they talk a lot about different types of lists, right? Low equity. We're going to be doing low equity here. Another one is on market for over 90 days. Basically, what that's telling us is there is some built-in motivation, right? When somebody's property is sitting for 3 months or more, start getting a sense of urgency, right? I would say that the agents are starting to maybe feel pressure that they only have 3 months left on a standard contract, right? To get this house sold. Homeowners are starting to get worried. Hey, this is sitting around for a while. I'm going to have to start dropping the price. So they start getting a little bit more anxious and interested in selling. So really what we're doing is just trying to find that motivation, trying to find those pain points of what. And, you know, somebody who has their house listed for 2 days, you know what? You could find a deal out of that, but that's going to be a small percentage, right? Not many overly motivated at 60 days, at something like 2 to 10 days, right? They think that they're going to get top dollar still. So those are just going to be kind of a waste of your time, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm doing on market here. Listing price. Again, you gotta understand what you're trying to accomplish, right? This is going to spit out anything, right? This is going to spit out, look at $2.2 million house, estimated value 2.3, right? I'm not targeting that size house right now. You know, maybe a short-term rental on the beach would make sense, but if I'm trying to rent it out to, you know, a nice family that's also limited population, right? It's going to be somebody who can't acquire a loan but has a lot of money. So you think like entrepreneurs, business owners, who might have a lot of money, but they have no credit to, you know, qualify for a loan. So I like to do $600,000. I think is usually a pretty good price. I think that there's a lot of buyers out there. That's another thing that you want to, you know, you want to have in mind when you're looking at some of these lists is who's your buyer going to be, right? If you're not a buy and hold investor, who's your buyer going to be? I would say, you know, you can probably find a lot of buyers who are looking for stuff under $500,000. Now I go $600,000 because I like to be above. I like to capture the ones that are 510, 520, 530, because you know you maybe get them under that $500,000 mark, and therefore your buyers list really is going to expand. So I like to go just over. If I have to come back and drop it, I will. We'll see what these numbers produce. All right, so that is MLS status. So ownership info. A great way to figure out low equity is short ownership, right? So with any type of mortgage, you know, the first few years of paying mortgage is mostly going to be interest only payments, right? You don't really start getting into the meat of the principal until years into the mortgage. So if you're looking at somebody who bought the house within the last 3 years, they're likely still paying a sizable amount of interest. Therefore, their principal is going to be high and they shouldn't have a ton of equity. So I'm going to do a max of 3 years. All right. And then we're going to look at ownership, valuation, and equity. You know, Jose and I actually were just talking before this call. You could do, you know, you could throw some in here for equity percentage, but this is not always the most accurate. So you may get some misleading numbers. What we discussed is being really good, and what Jose has taught in the past for anyone else who's caught it is loan to value percentage. So I'm going to put this at 75% as a minimum loan to value. So I think we have quite a bit so far. So we're looking, all right, we're in Raleigh, looking for residential, single family, duplex, triplex, quadplex. I got a minimum of 2 bedrooms. Minimum of 1,000 square feet. I want it to be built 1980 and sooner. MLS is going to be on. Yes, it's going to be listed on the MLS. I want it to be over 60 days. MLS listing price, I want it to be under $600,000, and years of ownership, I want to be 3 years. And then I think I have to, there we go. Now we got loan to value. Minimum 75%. So let's hit apply and see what we got here in Raleigh. 9. Okay, wonderful. So that's a pretty targeted list at this point. Now, what you're going to find with PropStream, with Batchley's, I think it's really the same. They're not getting updated every day, right? So some of these are showing as pending, could already be sold. Some of these are pending, they could actually be back on the market, right? Something could have fell through. Some of these that are active can actually be pending. So we're looking at on market. So we want to really make sure that we utilize Zillow as well. All right, so we're looking at, let's pull this one up right here, right? So this is going to be the property. I'm going to look at details. This was doing it to me earlier. Why is this button not working? All right, let me just click into here. Oh, this will bring you to the details page here. All right, so now we're just basically looking at a lot of the information. You can see it gives you owner information, name right up top. If it's an LLC, you'll see an LLC listed. Ownership length, 11 months. So they just bought this, right? It looks like they just relisted it too. So what we want to do here is pull the address. And I like to go to Zillow. Throw this address in. And let's take a look at what's actually happening with this property right now. So this is for sale. So at least we know it was accurate on the other side. Built in 2001. That's pretty good. All right. I like to jump 146 days on market. Really good, right? This is telling us that there's something's going on, right? There could be a multitude of things, right? You could have a stubborn seller who's just like, I'm not dropping my price. I don't care. You could have what I've been seeing a lot lately is getting under contract, the property goes pending, and then the buyer's finances fall through, right? They actually can't qualify for the loan that they said they could, and it falls through. So let's go down to the history and kind of see what's happening here. All right, so we can see that it sold in July of last year. And then what is that? Just in March, it went listed for sale again for $100,000 extra. So, wow. And then it sat till August 1st and they dropped it $20,000. That's it after sit. Okay. So yeah, this is super interesting, right? Why the quick sale? Why no activity for 5 months? Right? I would say if we go back and ask Victoria or any other agent here, it's like, how would you handle a property that's sitting for a while? I can't imagine you'd let it sit for 5 months without trying to make any changes, right? Even dropping it just a little bit in between now and then, right? I imagine would be a play that you would see if they were genuinely trying to sell it hard, or if there was another motivation behind there that maybe they can't, right? I think that's a big one that we try to do with the low equity is these sellers simply can't go any lower. Because if they go lower, they're going to be paying out of pocket, right? So let's go back to batch real quick and take a look at.
And guys, just a quick tip, when you're looking through the Zillow history, make sure you look at the pattern. You're gonna see very small drops instead of bigger drops with the traditional stuff. When you see very small drops, that's your hint that it's low equity, because like Andrew said, they just can't go any lower. So you're gonna see like incremental, like 5, 10, or like one big drop just once after a few months, like this one. But most of the time you can see it in a pattern of the history. That's why we say look at the history first.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I have been seeing a lot of smaller drops. This is normally I don't see too many that are this big of a drop after 5 months. You know, me personally, but yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, let's take a look, right? So all right, now we're back on batch. Right, we got some information. See over here, I don't see anything, no liens, probate, bankruptcy, pre-foreclosure, all's looking like no, that's great. So we have down here these tabs, right? This will kind of give you the information that you'll see on Zillow, which is cool. Sale and loan. Let's look what they got here. So they took out a loan for $465. And you can see they've paid off not even $600 of principal, right, in 11 months. So here is their interest rate, 5.23. Actually, I do like to just pop it down like this because you can see it a little bit more in one view versus having to scroll too much. Yeah, so okay, interest rate. You know, I would say majority are probably looking under 5%, but if interest rates take another jump up, you know, 5s start to look better. You know, the higher those interest rates can go, the better 5 will look. So, yeah, we got a question? Or just a hiccup? Maybe just a hiccup. All right.
Oh, no, sorry, I did have a question. Jose, could you please repeat that about the history? Why it's important to look at the history first? I kind of got a bad connection when you were saying that.
It's sneezed. It's okay. Everybody does. No, the history is more so for just seeing what the pattern might be. If there's a big drop like this one, you can tell they were trying to hold off for a while. And then they just, you know, screw it, let's bite the bullet and do one big drop and this is it. And if it doesn't sell, forget it. So that's probably what they're going for right now, that last little home run, see if they get their profit. If there's smaller increments of drops, you already know that they're in a bind. They can't go too much lower, or they're very set on their price. Might be a seller finance deal. But most of the time we're looking at home equity lines, low equity deals, which are gonna have a set number where the seller is going to have to pay out of pocket at some point.
Got it. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome.
All right, cool. So we were looking at back at batch. Yep. So now we're looking at their loan information. You know, don't take this as fact. These are definitely estimates. I would not call expecting for them to tell you they have a 5.23 and this is their exact remaining principal. These are absolutely estimates. These numbers can change. Often they are not what you see here. They're not crazy off, but they could have a 6% interest rate, right? So it could jump up. So you want to make sure that, okay, noted. You kind of see what the what it looks like. You know it's low equity. Just going to really matter what those numbers turn out to be, but yeah, you'll figure that out in your call, hopefully.
When you call, Andrew, do you usually ask them to give you that number, or do you just tell them to verify what you have?
Yeah, so when I do my calls, I mean, I usually don't, I do my best not to get into these numbers that early into the call whatsoever. I like to try to understand what's going on. And I like for them to try to tell me that they can't, right? So one thing that I really try to do is I get them to tell me, right, I would definitely go to that $20,000 drop and ask about that, right? And probe them to tell me what drove that and get them to tell me about their low equity situation. And then when they said that, when they come and say, oh yeah, it's they got a mortgage and they don't have a lot of room. Great. Boom. Okay. I know you got a mortgage, right? But I don't typically just go out and ask them. So then they tell me, yeah, it's low equity, got a mortgage. It's like, oh, great. Okay. So I saw they have bought it 11 months ago or so. And, yeah. Did they put a lot of money down? Do they have equity in the house? So yeah, I start to probe those questions. I don't rarely ever bring up these numbers over here. I look at these numbers and I just tell myself, okay, they have a loan. It's likely they might have a little equity if 550 is an honest sale price. Comps that way. Sure, they have some equity. So maybe they put 20% down. I don't know. But I usually do not verify my numbers against this. I let them go ahead and tell me if we progress that far into the conversation. And I don't think I had a single agent call this week so far that I talked numbers on the first call, right? Those are usually follow-up conversation calls, where the seller's got to get comfortable with the idea of possibly taking over a mortgage. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. A little long-winded, but wanted to make sure I was kind of thorough.
Good, thank you.
So yeah, this is, that's a good sense of, okay, kind of what's going on with this property, through Zillow, through this combined, you kind of have a good idea what's going on. I like to do the comping. Actually, I do a little bit on both. Again, I like to get a sense of just what's here on batch, but I really like to go to Zillow to do a little bit more verifying because, as I said earlier, this stuff on batch does not get updated daily, right? It may only be a couple times. I don't even know what it is, but a couple times a month, maybe once a month it gets done. So you have to keep that in mind. With Zillow, you're likely to have more accurate information because it's agents that are controlling the information, right? So when an agent sells a house, they should be proud of that, and they are proud of it. And they like to make sure that they go and change that listing to sold, right? They're not going to typically let it just linger for 10 days as pending when it was sold and closed, right? They like to update their listings, gives them a sense of pride, lets them close out a box of what they have going on. So yeah, you can count on the information being more accurate there because it's being controlled by parties that are actually involved in the transactions. So just looking at this comping here on this, I don't know, Jose, you want me to go into comping now or you want me to do that on another one?
Hit it. Any info you can
Yeah.
get within the next half hour?
Yes, awesome. Yeah, awesome. So comping, there's a couple things that are very important, right? It's proximity, it is time meaning like sold in the last 12 months. I think everybody here could appreciate that the market 12 months ago is not the market today, and it's not going to be the market in 6 months. It's not going to be the market in 12 months. So me looking at something that was sold 12 months ago is not going to give me a great idea of a comp, right? So I would say that the best place to start, ultimately 1 month, but you can see even at 12 months where my property is located. Where my property is located, there's not a ton of solds. What is this? I will say this is absolutely something I dislike about batch is that it does this stuff sometimes, and I don't understand why it does that, and it's very frustrating because I just wanted to focus on my data here. So you can see, like, there's not a ton super close, right? Might look like there's a ton, but you're starting to get like even these ones over here. So different subdivisions, right? So that's another one. So let's go check out 3 months. 3 months is usually where I start. If I'm in a place where there's a lot of solds, you can drop it down to a month, but let's see what this 3 months does. Bam, beautiful. Okay, so now we're looking at something, this is still market relevant. Now another one is, that's very important, is the same size, right? The best place to really start is 10%. So that's square footage, 10% plus or minus. So if you're looking at a 2,000 square foot home, your comps, you want to be in between 2,200 and 1,800, right? So in that range of within 10% of your house. And you can kind of see that down here now, right? So square footage, everything should be within 10% of, that's a lie, I didn't hit filter yet. So let me do that real quick. Bam. Now that really just put a hurting on my comps. But here's a beautiful, this is awesome right here. This is going to be the best comp right now. Get that out of the way real quick. So what is that? 2020 Shadow Creek. Let's go down here. 2020 Shadow Creek. I like to give it a thumbs up. What it does is just brings it to the top, and you can compare that more directly to your property. So yeah, very close in square footage, 5252. Love that. Great. This is a great comp, right? So let's take a look at it. Okay. When did this sell? 519. Okay. So got a good comp here. As we know, with all things batch leads, you really want to verify it back over here. So this is again going to be a little bit more accurate. So we're looking at 5.3. See, this says 5.3, where batch lead said 5.2, meaning it's likely a 5, 2.5. Yeah, actually it tells you perfect. 5. So you got a half bath in there. See, I didn't see that before. That's pretty cool. All right, so 2454. I'm just 2454. Okay, cool. So doing a comping back on Zillow. Let's open this up a little bit. Can I make this smaller? All right, so we got 24, so we're going to go to what? Let's just go to 2750, and then we're going to go to 2250. Sure, that's about good, right? And then same thing. We go 6 months, 90 days. Yeah, let's take a look at what we got here. So I'm not seeing that $500,000 one. Okay, so that's interesting. How do I get this thing out of here? Why is this? I will say Zillow, I prefer Zillow on my phone way more than I prefer Zillow on the desktop, because it does stuff like this and I can't get this away, and I want it to go away. I don't want to see all this crap on the side. All right, let's go back and look at batch real quick. Just want to get a quick sense exactly where this property is at again. All right, so Low Pine Hall Plantation above Headingham. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna be. Where is Shadow Creek? It's gonna be this one here, right? No. All right, we're in the area. So at least we know I'm in the area here. And what was up with this one? Oh, it was just above 77. Okay, so that's why. So I need to increase this one a little bit to 3,000, which is fine. So there it is. You can see it here. So let's just take a look. Double verify this. Yep. All right. 505 sold on May 22nd. Get a sense of what this one looks like on the inside. And then we can take a look at our property and get a good feel for how they stack up against each other. So this one's going to be a little bit bigger. And this is saying 2841 square feet. So you want to make sure that you're verifying these square footages, because just between these two sites here, you can see you're looking at a different square footage. Now that's important because 2,800 is going to pull you out of the 10% range, right? And the best way to really verify this now, I would say what I'm doing here right now is just a quick deal analysis, or you know, I'm analyzing the comps. I'm making sure that things are good. If you're really going to get under contract, you want to do a deeper dive. I won't go into all that here. We don't just simply have enough time, but I'll certainly go through it another time. You really want to go to the county site and look at the appraiser and verify these square footages. It matters. I'll give you a quick a quick story. We had a deal in South Carolina not too long ago, and it was a 1,200 square foot. And then we looked at the appraiser site, and it came back at like high 800s. So there was a huge discrepancy in square footage, right? Which totally changed the deal for us. So I want to make sure that you guys, when you're going through this, that if you're finding something that's looking like, okay, this is comping well, this looks like a good deal, go to the county site and verify. See what the county says about it, right? This could say 5 bedrooms at 2,500 square feet, and you go to the county site and it's saying, hey, I only know about 3 beds, and I only know about 2,000 livable square feet, right? So that tells you that maybe there was some work done that wasn't permitted, or, you just want to make sure that you're checking those things and verifying that, these numbers are accurate. Do not live by what you're seeing here. You need to verify I would say in multiple ways, and verify with facts. The most facts that you can. And a lot of times the county sites are going to be, the most factual. So, so back to, we're looking at this one. We have a good sense of kind of this property. Looks okay. I mean, it's just a nice house. I wouldn't call it like 2023 updated this year, but it's pretty nice. I like it, actually. It's actually really nice.
To be honest, with
Kitchen's
houses that have tile floor like this, and that have the tile or the wood look tile floor, usually appraise a little better than wood floors, because these LVPs, they tend to pop up whenever they get wet. So if you have the luxury vinyl planks in the kitchen or in the bathrooms, not all the time do people upgrade that LVP to the waterproof one. And even if they're waterproof, sometimes they're not. So this is actually pretty good.
nice. Very cool.
Yeah, it's clean.
Yeah, it is super clean. I actually like it because it's not what you see on every other house. Kitchen's a little small. I don't know, what's going on over here? Is that a gap? All right, so what it's missing, a bridge? Yeah, okay. No problem. They wanted to take the fridge with them. Not the end of the world, I guess.
Very expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. All right, so that gave, I think that's probably the best comp. Let's look at, this one's a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. Yeah, these are all a little bit smaller. Here's a good one. This one's. All right, so great. This one is, I like this one more, and I don't think this one's on Batchley's, probably because it's not updated yet, right? Yeah, I don't see it here. So this one just sold. It'll be a month tomorrow for $400,000. It is 100 less square feet. If that, no, oh, sorry, no, it's 200 more. 200 more. Just under 200.
What's the age difference?
This one is plus 6 years. So 6 years newer.
Wow, and at 400.
Again, furnished, so looks a little nicer in pictures, although what we got here, a nice little, that's a pretty cool little room. I like that. Yeah, so again, this is a pretty good comp. For what we were looking at. I think this has probably those wood floors you were talking about. Those look like normal wood floors, hardwood floors. But yeah, outside looks really nice. They don't give you much of the yard look. As I don't have much yard, but that's okay. Looks like a fence right here, so they're butted up right against the fence. There's this little side yard, backyard maybe. So yeah, I really like this. I really like this comp. Right, let's see. That's not too far away now, is it?
What would you, based on what you've seen, what would you say the value is right now?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Based on what you've seen, what would you say the value is right now?
Yeah, so I would I would put this at probably, I would be comfortable a lot closer to, I'd be under 5, I can tell you that. I don't think this sells for 550. I think for the 490s would be a safe place to be. Honestly, that may even be a little high. I'm taking into consideration this one that's a lot closer. This 400's a little far away, personally, for my liking, but you gotta, when you're doing comping, I think you really have to look into, there's a couple things, like I said, right? Like proximity, the square footage, and then time, right? Like, I know, like Jamil Damji or, even Pace, anyone's like, you don't want to time trap, right? Meaning you don't want to go back too far. So I don't want to go back 12 months and be like, oh, this one sold for 600. I can get 600. That's time traveling. You don't want to time travel. Now, you don't also want to go too far from your subdivision, right? These, I don't know this area. There could be a line that's drawn right here, and this could be the best school system, and this could be not a good school system, right? So it really takes to understand the area. They always say you don't cross any major roads, right? So if I'm looking, South Hall doesn't look too major, but if I was looking at like this property, you really don't want to cross over New Hope. Maybe you could cross that one, but you definitely don't want to cross like 401 or 440, right? You want to stay within a pretty good close proximity. This one for me is a little far out there. I think the comps are good. I think if you went to the agent, they may use this as a comp, but for what we're looking to accomplish here, I really would try to keep it below South Hall here. So let's look at this one here.
I always
Yeah.
look for a Starbucks.
There you go. See, guys? Not the only one.
Yeah.
And Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so this house was just redone, right? This is a beautiful house. This is the classic. I mean, this is everywhere. It's what every house looks like now, right? So, but super beautiful. I do like it. I feel like the floor here, this little contrast. So this was May. This was 420. And what is this? This is 100 less square feet, technically one less bathroom, one less bedroom, right? So it's a 4-bedroom. So I think, Jose, I don't know if you have anything different, but I think like bedroom is $10,000 or what is it? $10,000 or 10%?
Depends on the area. I would say a little bit more on this one. I'm putting this house like around 450. What's the list price?
550.
550, yeah. So just the key to this, guys, is that we're teaching you how to comp just because you want to set up your creative deal perfectly. So if you were to call the agent and be like, hey guys, I mean, I could maybe pay the price that you're asking, but you guys are way over. Look at this estimate is 537. Personally, if I was gonna pay cash or get a new loan, it'd be in the 450, 460 range because of so and so. And then they'd be like, you're way off. Okay, if I'm off, prove me wrong. What kind of comps, what made you come to this decision of listing it at this price? Well, they owe this much, this and that. Okay, so that has nothing to do with the market, more so the mistake that was made with the purchase and the economy. Now, don't put too much blame on them and don't be as harsh as what I'm talking right now, but it's more so you got to understand that when you do present the creative offers, remember it's always cash first. So if you're going cash first, you're going to say, okay, the best we can do if it has to be cash because we're going to take away from other properties, we're going to be around 440, 450. They're going to send you to hell and all this stuff. And then you're going to say, well, maybe I could do a different way. Do you think they'd be open to this if we can get them the number they want? Boom, you automatically just upsold yourself. You look so much better.
Yep, I love that. All right. So we have a few minutes left. You want me to give this realtor a call?
Let's give it a roll, man. Well, what does it look like first? Let me just, I'm running it on the side. You're going to call, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, this is for what we were seeing on those other ones.
Yeah. But usually
It's a nice basement area, but
it's not up to par to what everything is. So that's usually a huge indicator when they're way overpriced over the market and they're not renovated. They're not, I mean, most realtors know what a renovated property will go for in their market. So if they knowingly listed it this high, usually they're not doing a disservice to the seller, more so just trying to grab that one buyer that's willing to pay over market value. And because of that,
yeah,
probably the equity. What does the mortgage look like on this?
I mean, if this is even remotely accurate, it's really like they're underwater already. I mean,
You
of course,
465, 5.2. I've got the same thing on PropStream. I got 5.23, 458.
nice.
What's your payment? 2561. I've got 2562 on mine. So it's pretty similar.
Okay.
Just
Nice, good. I like to hear that.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and give her a call. Hey, by the way, I just want everyone to know before I make this call. I've been making a lot of these this week, and now all of a sudden I'm nervous. So don't think that
just go.
It's perfectly normal human to feel nervous, especially when you're doing it in front of people. And you guys are gonna laugh when you're doing role plays and you feel nervous, and then you start getting over that, and then you do it in front of more people and you get nervous again. So it's all good.
Lead by example. That's great. Clifton's nervous and he's not making the call. You're giving him even more jitters, man. How do you add it up on the counting record?
Leave a message after the tone. I will receive as soon as possible. Have a report talking to you soon. At the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hey, Cindy, my name is Andrew Murray. I am calling about the listing you have on Shadow Creek. I was taking a look at some of the pictures. Looks like a pretty cute little house. I do see that it's been listed for a little bit, so I just wanted to have a quick conversation, see what's going on, and see maybe if we can't make a deal out of it. So if you can give me a call back at 908-414-3537, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Bomber.
Bummer, or are you happy that they didn't answer?
No, I'm bummed. I'm bummed. I was only a little nervous. I was kind of fired up though, because I felt like it could have been a good one to chat about, just because it seemed to be very off of what's actually happening in the market. So I like those ones because it drives good conversation, kind of forces everyone to speak and start telling some truths.
Definitely. Yeah. Lying in these situations doesn't help anybody.
Right. All right, so we can jump down to this one. Let's see what we got here. This looks a nice house as well. I'm gonna go ahead and
I have
just
a quick
copy
question.
this. Yeah.
I'm not an agent, but I've talked to several, and I don't know like the life of an agent, but anytime I've ever just said like the street address, like they knew everything, like they had a notebook in front of them. Like, how is that possible? Like, I'm sure
Good
everyone
job.
has lives, but it'd be so like instant. Like, hey, I was calling about XYZ. Oh yeah, this, that, and like it's like that kind of thing about it. And I was just curious from like a realtor's perspective.
Me and Victoria could probably chime in on this, and it's kind of our babies. To be honest, when you go and you have these listing, you sit at a listing and you promise, you don't really promise, but you show the seller like, hey, I can do this, I can take this off your plate. You're taking that responsibility and you don't take it lightly. It's not just another house, it's not just another number. You are wanting to, I mean, it's your reputation that you're putting out there. You're not sitting at these tables for fun and having these conversations and like kind of being a wholesaler and seeing what sticks, you know. We need to sell this thing, and we're not taking no ifs, ands, or buts. We're gonna make sure that this thing sells. And just like Victoria did on her deal, she did anything as far as like outside of the traditional to find a way to get this seller's house sold. So think of it as like one of our children. We're gonna memorize these things. We're gonna know exactly the ins and outs, so that should that random phone call like you, Clifton, comes out and you are the client, we never know who's going to be the buyer. So we're always picking up phone calls, even spam calls we have to pick up. We get spam too. So just got to think of it that way. There are some people that carry on their books. They've got a listing book. If they have several listings, it's not like they're geniuses. They've got their notes with them. And yeah, you just practice. You're probably getting a ton of calls on these listings. If you don't have many, there's not much to really remember. Go off the beds, baths, the upgrades, the things that they've mentioned. It just becomes second nature when you start listing properties and you're in the game for a little while. After 4 or 5 years, you can go to a house one time and remember everything and then walk out, and it's natural. What do you think, Victoria?
Yeah, it was 1 or 2 of them. I was like, all right, I think you're just saying things that I want to hear. How you know that off the top of your head? Sorry, that was just my question though. Thank you.
Yeah. You're invested in that property because you've usually done staging. You might have even paid for a cleaning service. I mean, some of the sellers have bad situations that, people don't know about. There could be a death in the family. It could be, just a lot of things. And so I know that I have paid for staging. I've done cleaning service. I've had to retake photos. I've had to stage the outside, overcome objections from, various showings that I might have had. So yeah, you learn to know that property really, really quickly when you meet with the seller and they tell you all the features. In fact, I require my seller to give me all the features about their home that they think would help me sell that house. And then it's my responsibility to make sure I know that. I have it on my phone wherever I go. I have it readily available, but you learn the property quite well because you've got money in it. And also I get all my houses measured professionally and the photography is done professionally. So unless you've asked for upfront money, you're in the red when you list. So a lot of people don't think about that perspective. I mean, you've got money invested in this house. You need to get it sold, and you should mean business. Like it's a serious thing. Hope that helps.
Thanks for the space, Andrew.
Thank you. It does. It does.
Did you find another?
All
here?
right, so we have a pretty interesting one, and we'll run through this real quick. So you can see it sold in May of last year, right? They listed it for rent for $2,200. Eek,
What's
that's
the
not a
mortgage?
lot. Yeah. The mortgage,
Okay, it's covering it.
pretty decent, yeah, covering it. And then they removed it, so I'm guessing they didn't get anybody. Then they listed it for sale in March, dropped the price, removed it, listed it for rent at 23, removed it altogether. So,
A lot of pain.
yep.
Can you guys
And-
see that? Put in the side chat if you could see what type of pain this is. This is like them trying every single avenue and nothing's working at the numbers they're wanting. But yeah, this is prime for you, man. This is a good one to call. I mean, you're gonna be direct to seller, I think, right? It's not listed. They just took it off.
Yeah, I can do direct. Let's do that.
You could also bring it back from the dead and call the agent.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Let me do that real quick.
Yeah.
Give her a shot here.
Yeah, why not? Do you know what the numbers look like as far as walkaway number for the seller at the last list price?
Hello?
Well,
Hey, Kara, my name's Angel Murray. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Hey, I was calling about the property that was listed 2216 Long and Winding Road. Are you still representing that property?
I have not represented that property in 2 years, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was for sale by owner then?
It was relisted. I helped them sell it, and then that person decided to sell it, and it was listed by another firm, not myself.
Oh, I apologize. Your number was still the one listed on Zillow.
I'm sorry, I can't help you. Good luck.
All right, no problem. You have any other properties for sale in the area?
Not near there,
No.
no.
Where are you listing out of?
Are you looking for something specific?
Yeah, so I'm an investor, actually. I'm looking for some long-term buy and holds for my wife and I. We're trying to build ourselves a little real estate portfolio and yeah, just looking for properties that may be good investments. Yeah, we can put tenants in and hold for retirement, really.
Well, I do have a good one coming up in about a week and a half. It is a big house with a finished basement and a finished basement house, a bedroom, a kitchen, big full apartment downstairs. And it's pretty aggressively. I think it's sort of like, if you want, I can hold on to your information and send it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. I will go ahead and when we hang up here, I'll shoot you my email as well. And then, any information that comes through, you can shoot my text, my email, whatever, but yeah, would love to take a look at it. From your opinion, would that property work well as a long-term or maybe a decent short-term or midterm? I'm not sure the area exactly where you're talking about, but.
It's in Lake Forest. Do you mean like a long-term rental or a long-term investment?
Yeah, long-term rental. So I'm actually out of state, so I would look to have tenants in there. That's why I was asking. Kind of sounds like it may be a little bit bigger of a house for a long-term rental, but is it in an area that may be good for short-term or maybe midterm rentals?
I doubt it. I mean, it's in a really nice division,
Okay.
so I don't think they would allow short-term rentals. I don't know if that'd be handy, but they're definitely not gonna be like Airbnb.
Yeah, that's fine. No worries, no worries. I'm still super interested in checking it out. There's other ways that we kind of can go about an exit strategy. Those are just a couple that for long terms, but there may be another way that we can still potentially make a deal. So I'd love to check it out.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, bye. All right. Guess that's that. At least I got a contact out of it.
Yeah. Good.
That is nuts.
What?
Go ahead, tell us what you saw.
Oh my God, that realtor. She had an opportunity. You were asking her to, I mean, I don't care if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, like what the heck? I mean, she's getting a call about a house that she knows something about. Why didn't she tell you anything about that house? She could have called them.
Yeah.
an
No, I agree.
idiot.
I'm gonna follow up with her because it's I think.
Does
I
she
think
have
she has
a
more to-
family to feed?
Yeah, she seemed a little short at first. Like she was. I bet you there was something that happened with that house because she didn't seem to want to talk about that house for very long. So, she may have had a bad experience. Maybe she got fired and she's not happy about it. I don't know, but. Again, I don't know, like that's just another example of I'm gonna follow up with her for other things in the future now that she knows me. Yeah, that's
I'd
actually
go
a
after
really
the
fun.
seller.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely gonna go after this for that
Yeah.
one property, but I'm definitely gonna reach back out to her for, pocket listings or maybe this listing that she has coming up, some way to build rapport so that when she comes up, something comes up, she may want to call me, right? And this may be a good opportunity for me to call back her and kind of introduce her to creative financing without being about a specific property. So just get it in her head, help educate her a little bit. And then maybe she's sitting there one day and she's like, oh shit, I got a month left to sell this house. I should call that guy Andrew. And it's like, yeah, nice.
Guys, a lot of times in this type of situation where Andrew called the last listing agent that was noted in Zillow, many times that's the listing agent from the last sale. So they don't even know the buyer. They do know the previous seller, but that's the number that you're usually going to get when it's off market. If you go over to Trulia, Redfin, things like that, if they recently listed, that's usually the last listing agent. Zillow doesn't quite have that updated just yet. I've been noticing that pattern quite a bit. So
Hey.
there, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you could do whatever you want to do, but I'm just saying, you could also call her back and say, hey, I was just thinking about our conversation. Would you be open to creating a win-win situations that you do have some knowledge of the sellers and what might be going on? Could you tell me any more?
If she
I
knew.
just- Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an option.
Mhm.
And I want to pay
like it.
you. I want to
Yeah.
pay you. I'd like to work with you. So would you be open to that? I mean, that's just something.
No, 100%. That's, oh, you got muted somehow. But that's 100% probably what Andrew was going to shoot for, is that exact type of approach, if she was the seller, for sure, to revive it.
Yeah, I think that was a great point, Victoria. And yeah, it's a lot of ways to skin the cat, as they say. So and it's all in the follow-up, really, right? It's just continuing to keep yourself in their mind and show them the benefits of it all, and eventually it starts coming back to you. So I hope everybody enjoyed that first go around with me. Hope we can do a lot more of these. I'm excited.
Yeah, guys, thank you for joining. Andrews did great today, man. That was awesome for the first time. Good job, dude.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But yeah, I hope you guys got a ton of info on that. We're definitely gonna keep this rolling. We're gonna do twice a week now. And over the next couple of weeks, we want you guys to kind of get the cojones to grab a phone call and jump on this thing and really get the jitters out. That's what this is going to be meant for, is to get the jitters out. Stumble here. If you're going to stumble anywhere, you might as well do it with friends and people that are doing it with you and have the same like mind.
Yep.
We can all brush it off together, you know.
Hey, Jose, I got a quick question before we end this. As far as lists are concerned, I see, prop stream being mentioned. I see batch leads being mentioned. Is there one that's really better than the other?
Preference.
Golden question.
I'm going to tell you prop stream.
Okay.
For the money.
Okay. What about Privy? Privy's not really leads, right? Privy is more of like an analysis and stuff like that. Is that correct? Because I've been hearing a lot about Privy.
So you can use it for analysis, but that is what I'm seeing more of the wholesale side, using it for comping and getting wholesale deals out of that. Whereas when we are looking at interest rates and loan balances, we're going creative and we're shooting for that information. And if we don't have that information, we don't really have the ability to shoot a creative offer without the mortgage balance, interest rate, what type of loan, things like that, that Privy, I'm sure, does have. It's just a little different to get to it. Whereas I'm more of a data-driven brain, and I don't care for the fluff and the beautiful website. I just want the information, like flat out.
Okay.
It just depends on your
Yeah.
the way you use it, man.
Because then I heard there's
I'm not
list
gonna
source
I'm not
too,
gonna
and-
sit here and yeah, sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, I just said there's list source too, I guess, and then Jerry Norton has Prop Wire. I guess that has the equity positions too with that. So, I'm kind of like, I'm not joining 4 or 5 different websites. I'll be completely lost. I'm lost as it is right now, just trying to figure out which is the best one to go to. But you recommend then Prop Stream. Okay.
Only because, like Andrew was showing me today, batch, and I went over batch also with Clifton Ross here in the chat this morning. When we're going through batch, it seems to need an upgrade to see the interest rate and the type of loan it is. It'll give you the loan balance and the payment. But I don't know, what did you see, Andrew, that we were missing for the upgrade? Oh, filtering.
Filtering by the loan interest
Yeah.
rate.
Yep.
We can see it, but we can't filter by it.
Exactly.
That's right.
But the filtering is included in the price and prop stream. But in my opinion, when you guys were showing me batch today, I feel like that's Privy and prop stream that made a baby. So some people might like it.
I just never switched off batch leads. I've contemplated going over to prop stream for a while. I just joined batch leads because that's what was told through sub 2's training. And then so I did it. And I just haven't made a switch. So yeah, it's really just that sometimes.
Part of your journey. Just like there's going to be people that are going to say, hey, should I be using a CRM? Should I use a dialer right now? Maybe you just haven't gotten to that step yet where you need it. You don't necessarily need everything that people are recommending because everybody's in their own stage of their journey. So see where you fit best, where your money can go, and use that and try and get niche, like very, very focused on exactly what you're doing, and don't explore too much. Once you start going to a million different things, you're not going to know how to filter. You're not going to know what you're looking for. You're going to get lost. That's like Michael said. So
yeah, exactly. I agree with that 100%.
focus on one thing, practice it, give it a couple months. If it's not really producing, then make your shift. But yeah, Andrew, you got an idea on time of date, or you want to put it into the chat later on this week?
Yeah.
You can. figure that out.
Yeah, I wanna just talk with everybody at the next meeting we have real quick, following this, and then I will certainly, I'll put it in the chat, everybody, and then, we will make sure we get it up on the Circle app. So keep an eye out for it.
Keep an eye out, guys. We're gonna be updating the calendar here in the Lions Den, so we're gonna have a couple of weeks now. Gonna upgrade this thing and really get it cranking before this next Elephant Challenge. It's gonna be geared towards agents only, so agent outreach. So let's prepare before the challenge even starts, so when it hits, we'll all be good and being able to help others that come in. You're gonna be one level up above everybody else.
Sounds great.
Well, thank you, Andrew. I do have to get going.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria.
Have a good day, everybody.
Lifting.
Thanks, everyone.
Great job, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Bye.